What's up, guys? Now, if it looks like my soul has been stolen from me, that would be because I already shot a video for this bad boy and the audio was so screwed up that I can't even use it. So the 3 videos I shot today are all ruined and I am reshooting this one because I ain't gonna let this win. I might splice in some of the older footage because the footage is still good, just the audio is piss poor, which when you're talking about a speaker, you can't have that. So what we're talking about is the OMAKER M5. I love the M4. I've had the M4 for a couple of months now. Use it at work, use it hiking, love it. It's got a 3-watt driver in it, sounds clear, it's super durable, waterproof, dustproof, dirtproof, all that fun stuff. So when OMAKER contacted me and was like, hey, we made the big brother for the M4, you want to try it out? I was like, hells yeah, send it my way. So they did, and luckily I recorded the first time I listened to it because I ended up augmenting this bad boy, which you'll see in the footage that I can't use the audio from, but I ended up chopping off the back portion of this thing. But before I get into any of that, I just wanted to say that speaker quality in this thing is pretty fantastic. You get 2 5-watt IP67 drivers, which do support and have bass to them, which is awesome because that was like the whole thing that they were trying to do with this thing, is create a durable, waterproof, quality sound product that also has bass, which for something this small is tough to do. They also give you this awesome little carabiner, which has the OMAKER name on it. It's this cool powder-coated silver color, and it has this screw-on capability, so that way it actually locks it on, which is really cool. This thing sounds pretty damn clear. Also has the waterproof IP57 driver in it, but zero bass, no bass. This thing has some bass. As a matter of fact, this thing had too much bass. So much bass that it was smacking the back plate of the speaker itself, and it basically sounded like there was like a baby rattle inside the speaker anytime a bass dropped. And you can't have that, and I can't be the only one when turning this thing up, because it was anything past like half volume this would happen. I can't be the only one who's turned this thing on and then had that happen. So I don't get how it was even shipped out doing that. I mean, granted, when I took that thing off, this thing sounds awesome now. It really, really does. But there's enough flaws with this thing, and at $50, I would almost say buy 2 of these opposed to this one, because it's like I saw where they were going with this thing. They just didn't succeed, sadly. The hardware is awesome, speakers are awesome, build is cool. I like how it looks. I like that it matches the M4 and it looks rugged. They give you this cool little carabiner with it, but there's 3 things, counting the back plate, that really bother me with this thing. First thing is the charger cord, which this is not a charger cord. Like, I have an outlet below my window. I like to charge things on my windowsill. They didn't even give you a foot on the charging cord. Why? I don't know. Cell phones give you more than this. That's kind of ridiculous. You can't even, if you were trying to charge that on the back of an iMac, it wouldn't happen. And then they throw in an auxiliary cable, which if Bluetooth 4.0 or NFC are not your game, there's an auxiliary cord, which honestly, for $50, I don't know why you would be getting a Bluetooth speaker and then cording it up. It just doesn't make sense to me, but it's in there if you need that option, and I don't hate them for doing that. I wish they would have taken the length of the auxiliary cord and added it to the charging cord. That would have made the game a whole different story. They also, for whatever reason, these buttons, waterproof, similar, super similar. These buttons, I don't know why, but you have to be some kind of He-Man strongman to turn any of these buttons on. I guarantee you will not, if you set this down and push the power button, you won't be able to turn this thing on. Like, you just physically can't do it. It takes 2 hands, 2 thumbs. You gotta find where it clicks, because you'll hear it, because pushing there isn't always gonna do it. You gotta hear the click and then hold it there like seriously your life depends on it. Like, you gotta be Superman to turn this thing on. So there it went. But it takes so much to utilize any of these buttons, enough to where if like you're trying to change volume or answer a call on the fly, you probably won't be able to do it because it's just impractical. So yeah, charging cord is annoying. Buttons are really annoying, and then backplate basically made this thing unusable. And we'll cut to that audio so you can hear the rattlesnake that was this speaker before I hacked it open. And then I'll also splice in where I drilled out the back and pulled it off. Now, what my plan is for this thing is I'm gonna go to Home Depot. I'll get like a nice mesh that I'll probably end up lifting and raising, so that way there's no chance that it touches the drivers, because that's what was happening. It was vibrating so much and fluctuating the drivers so much that it was ticking off the back. So I'll change that, I'll put a new grill on it, and maybe I'll post some pictures when that's all done. But as of right now, sounds absolutely amazing after I completely modified the product. And you shouldn't have to do that. One more thing which I'm also on the fence about, I haven't decided if I like it or if I hate it, is that this thing also has a DSP in it, which is a digital sound processor. What that does is basically it's doing very, very quick mathematical equations inside to adjust the audio. Basically, the speaker is listening to itself, and much like a singer would, it hears how it's projecting and then will augment itself using algorithms to create the best sound that it thinks it can do. Now, that sounds really cool, and it does make it create this very, very clear sound. I've noticed that when there's songs that alternate between heavy bass and then not as much bass, it actually causes so much fluctuation in volume that it's noticeable and kind of just takes you out of the song in general. Like I was listening to Macklemore's new album on it. Overall, it was like he'd get into the bass and the volume of the speaker would like instantly drop down, so that way it wasn't, you know, causing distortion or anything. And then as soon as it would get to a part where he was doing more vocals and there was less beat behind him, then all of a sudden the volume would spike up and he's just too loud. And it was just this battle between vocals and bass, and you don't want that. You want it to be like harmoniously intertwined, and it just wasn't. But now that the back's off, I'll connect to my phone and actually let you hear how it sounds with the augmented back plate. And granted, it's coming through the lav mic, which I'm 0 for 2 on these videos so far with this lav mic, so hopefully it's working this time. But I'm gonna connect to it right now, and then let me pull up let's do a YouTube video. Let's pull up a singer on YouTube. That way it's not copyrighted. Been listening to a lot of William Singe lately. Let's listen to some William Singe. But you'll at least hear how clear it is, and the volume level. See, that bass does hit. For being little tiny 5-watt drivers, that's really impressive, that bass.
I'm like, yeah, she fine. I wonder when she'll be mine. She walk past, I press rewind just to see that ass one more time. And I got this audio. No, I can't control. Yeah, baby. No, you can't control.
Now, I don't know if you could notice right there. Let me take it down. See, I don't know if you noticed right there, but that was an example of what I was saying, where the vocals are downplayed when the bass is on because they're trying to balance it out using the DSP, which I really don't think I like it, because it takes away from not only the hit of the bass, it also takes away from the power of the vocals, and it seems to augment that in a negative way. So I can see what they were trying to do, they just didn't. But I don't know what else to say. OMAKER, you know, hopefully if they see this, then hopefully they'll do something about that backplate, because that was the biggest deal. And I haven't seen any reviews for this thing yet. I saw one and it wasn't in English. So hopefully enough people mention this that they catch it quick and can change that, because overall it really is a great sounding Bluetooth speaker if a few things get changed. Now for $50, I would rather buy 2 of these, honestly. But I mean, if bass is your game and you gotta deal with a Bluetooth speaker, it's not a bad option. Anyways guys, sorry this video is so jumbled and confusing and just all over the place. Hopefully I can fix the audio enough to where some of it is at least usable. At least some of the other videos I did were usable. But anyways, love you all. Deuces.